Check, check. What's up, Kayfabe crew? Got a fun page to ink today, and the title of the video is No Kayfabe. You guys showed up in such a big way. Ordered so many copies of Red Room issue 2 that the printer literally has to order more paper to sort of fill the demand. A nicer compliment I could not have received. Craig CK, what's up, homeboy? Inking a page of pumpkins. I think this killer couple is going to be as popular as like the poker face character. This is going to be for the second wave of issues, the second season, issue 2 of that. Hoodie horror. These kids are more like copycat people rather than running real Red Rooms. You know, they're sick teenagers who are emulating, which is one of the dangers of that world. It's one of the reasons why it's not publicized on the news that much, because they just don't want to inspire people to seek that kind of shit out. They don't want to inspire copycats. Adam Brooks, dude, thanks for the super chat, homie. The thing about the cosplay of these characters is that I want it to be something that you guys could build easy, but I also want it to still be creative. You know, I still want it to be kind of cool. So my thought is you take a Halloween hockey mask, you know, the one that they call hockey mask or whatever, and it's like a generic Jason. You take that one. I don't know how you add a little stem. You know, you have to figure that part out. But just paint the pumpkin face. I'm going to hit it with some white to get some stray pubic hairs in this mess. Aw, dude, the silver shamrock masks. That's fun. Here's my little reference for the pumpkin masks. My baby sister made that. She had it hanging up in her room. I was like, let me borrow that shit for a month. Just so I could see this thing at different angles. Yeah, I've been reading and hearing a lot of reports of Red Room issue 1 selling out everywhere. The store has to do what they can to keep that shit in stock, man. I'm gonna make them some money. We thought that was super funny whenever the printer got in touch once they received our order. And as far as I know, Red Room issue 1 is Fantagraphics' biggest circulated comic. And I think issue 2 is the second biggest. So that's on the strength of you guys showing up in a big way. That's on the strength of my friends hooking up those fly variants and playing that game. And I am forever grateful for all of you. Thanks for joining our streams. Thanks for watching the Cartoonist Kayfabe channel. Do you guys see the Wizard episode that we posted today? That original recording was done in December of 2019. We were just sitting on it. Just got that damn second COVID shot a couple days ago, man. I feel like ass. So if you hear the stone silence, the little hiss of the mic goes away, that's me schnotting all over the place. I'm trying my best to keep it off the microphone. We got a lot of vids in the hopper. We recorded some great stuff yesterday, too. Man, I can't wait for you guys to meet these kids here. The Pumpkins. I was reading about a phenomenon of British horror cinema from like 2008 to 2016. They called it hoodie horror. And the idea is that the Brits are fucking terrified of teenagers, so exploit that in horror cinema. So after that, it was like, well, let me try to think of a cool, scary kid comic, psycho kid comic. Euro comics. Not that I can think of, but we are we have to do Corto Maltese at some point. We're sitting on a couple volumes of the IDW stuff, so we're really gonna have to bite the bullet and talk Hugo Pratt. Sort of nervous about it because I'm sure they're just pulpy. Like, the art is so great, unassailable. But I'm nervous that the story might, we might rag on that or something. It might not give us what we need. But got to give it a shot for sure. There's a boy and a girl character. The boy wears like a Boy Scout outfit with like a cult patches, merit badges. CK, thanks for the big super chat there. And thanks for the good wishes. Always a gamble. Going into it, I knew Red Room was a weird comic. Nothing to point to on the racks that was like it. But I am a comic fan first, and I am not getting what I want on the stands. Like my brethren are not serving me. So Red Room is a comic that I would want to read legitimately. And I think that's just how it has to be. Like, we have to make the stuff that we want to be out there. Just as a citizen, I'm, one of the most independent people you ever meet in a way. Like, I don't need anybody to do anything for me ever. I got it all under control. So when it comes to like comics, like, fuck, why not just make the comic that I wish was out there? That's the formula. Craig, big compliment, man. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the comic. I do think I'm going to work my ass off over the next 4 or 5 days. At the beginning of June, I'm going to start shaping the TPB into a fresh experience. Yeah, I've been out of monthly comics myself. Man, it's a little humid here in the Berg. And sometimes the result of that is that the ink takes a little while to dry, a little longer than usual. So I'm going to just kind of skip around a little bit. Let this little piece dry so I could really get into her mask. The boy has the weird Boy Scout outfit on. And the girl's going to have kind of like a rave outfit. Like, you know that meme video where there's all those raver kids gothed out and dancing under a bridge in broad daylight, looking crazy? Her outfit's kind of based on that. Chris Levy, man, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm not sure, like, I do put time into designing these characters. You know what it is, man? Like, I'm not quite yet the age of Kirby when he created Fantastic Four. So I want to put myself in that space, man, of just creating universes. It's just that the universes that I'm interested in playing with, man, are deranged. At least right now. Pop Culture Avenger, thank you so much, man, for putting in that order. You should still be able to get a first printing of issue 1, I think, if you put in that order. And anybody else, man, don't get caught sleeping. You missed out on Walking Dead issue 1, man. You don't want to miss out on Red Room issue number 1. It's funny. I just got my copies of Red Room. The regular covers. I just got those 2 days ago. Fantagraphics has been working their asses off. I've been tasking those dudes over there in the warehouse, man. They sent me photos from the warehouse. Thousands of mailers that they have to stuff and ship out. Yeah, the 8 ball cover is sick. Just to be clear for people who are like, the Klaus cover, what? It's a Jim Rugg homage cover. He did a great Love and Rockets one for issue 2. Yeah, this is a Tachikawa nib used for holding the G pen nibs, Japanese. Very nice rubber grip. The G pen nibs hold much more ink, and I highly recommend them. The tools of the mangaka. Bob the Mod, enjoy your walk. Say hi to Pete and Chris Butcher when you hit up the beguiling. It's been too long since I've been in Toronto. Look forward to going sooner than later. The ink is just speedball ink. Pretty crappy stuff. I've never found an ink I was happy with, but I also never actively really look, you know? While my brethren are off looking for ink, I just inked a panel. You know what I'm saying? Especially now, doing like a monthly thing. I'm such an active comic book maker, and I sort of have just kind of always been, that I just don't fetishize the tools the way that my brethren do. What's that Kanye line? You worry about the wrong things, the wrong things. That's my thoughts on that shit. Just get something that works, man. Fuck it. would definitely say making comics is cheap. Cheap hobby. Even if you get all the best stuff, man, best papers, the ultrasonic rapidograph cleaner, at most, all the setup stuff to have like the best kind of pro analog kind of situation. Well, $2,000 maybe of table materials, comfy chair, paper and pens and stuff, negligible. And the thing that like all kind of successful cartoonists run into is come tax time, your accountant is always like, man, you need to spend more money, dude. And then you start to learn some shit, man, about how things work. When you see your favorite celebrity or something, and like they have their entourage, there's a function to that, man. Those people are quote unquote assistants, and that person bringing them along is definitely writing that shit off on their taxes. That's just like that next level shit that, certainly dudes like me, the people that I sort of grew up with, my family and stuff, my folks just worked in the steel mill. Like, we don't know about any of that kind of bullshit. Some have to learn about all that crap. Kind of just getting schooled by real successful cartoonists, man. What do I do? What do I do? Quality problems, we'll call that. Yeah, this is 11 by 17 paper. I've been getting into lettering on the boards again, so the size that I letter, it needs to be this size paper. Oh, man, it's okay to use any size paper you like, man. As a beginner or otherwise. It's all about just finding out what's comfortable for you. I drew half of issue number 1 on 9 by 12 paper. First time I ever drew a comic so small. And I liked it. If I wasn't lettering, I might have gone back to that. But man, you could use composition notebook. Go to Benjamin Mera's Instagram and check out the comics he's making. All drawn on composition notebooks. there are no rules to comics production, man. But the ones we sort of place for ourselves. You know, if you want a rule, here's a rule for you to stand by, and I would hang my hat on it. Don't be boring. There. Now go off, go make some comics, and don't be fucking boring. If this comic was drawn in like 1989 or something, man, it would have been drawn on legit duotone paper, and man, those originals would be sick as fuck. Because as far as I'm concerned, like, what you're seeing is a half finished process, because I then have to go take it into the computer and do some manipulation. To get those gray tones on there. I'm not sure about how many pages a month, actually. I probably don't want to know personally because it's not gonna be enough. I really wish. I think that's the lamentation of most cartoonists. Like, just wish so much faster. Mm. So this is only going to be half done in ink because when I get the tones, I'm going to be able to add so much more. But I want this blade to feel rusty, and I think I know how to do that with the duotone. I've been chilling with the Hunt 102 actually, man. I've been using a G Pen nib. For the bolder inking. I love this girl's pose. You'll see when I ink the rest in if it's not too visible. She's holding a knife above her head in like this like awkward pose. Like that head tilt is always a sick one, man. When you can't see the eyes and shit. I'm a big fan of Halloween. I love going to haunted houses. We have a lot of them here in Pennsylvania. You know, the ones where you pay a couple dollars and they have actors and volunteers working to scare you. I love that shit. And one of the real unsettling pieces, man, is when somebody's wearing that mask and they cock their head to the side. You can't see even their eyeballs underneath. It's real effective. Yeah, I worked at a haunted house. I was working at a haunted house when Harvey Picar first called me. I I, uh, I missed the first phone call because I was working at a haunted house. 21 years old. What happened was I was working at this call center, making money to pay off Qbert school. Just that 1 year. It took me 2 years to work and pay that off because I was also spending money too. You know, I was living a life. I also bought a ton of comics. You know, I would just buy a run of stuff on payday because it was like retail therapy. You know, I wasn't where I wanted to be in life. Working at this call center to pay back school loans and shit. Excuse me. Get my paycheck. We were allowed to read at work. And I would just buy, boom, every Sandman trade. 2 weeks later, Lone Wolf and Cub is completed. Boom. Pick up all the Lone Wolf and Cubs. You know, $200 here. Boom. And I was at this call center for a while. Got a call from some of my homies from the Qbert school. They were in their 3rd year. And I know they weren't, this is my sensitivities and shit. I know they weren't rubbing it in. They were legitimately calling to be like, yo, Ed, what's up? How you doing? We miss you, blah, blah, blah. But it really sounded like they were having fun. And from that moment, I was like, I am fucking becoming a cartoonist as soon as possible. Preferably while these fucks are still in school. I just use that as a motivating force, you know. So it was real easy to get fired from where I was working because it had to do with government regulations on cigarettes and the public and stuff. So I was working at a call center, you know, talking to the public. You have to, before you even say one word to people, whether they have a question or whatever, you got to ask them, man, are you 21 years of age? And you have to ask them just like this. Are you a smoker? You can't say, you're a smoker, right? No leading answers because of the sort of rules that were set up. So all I did was I stopped doing those things, man. You're supposed to do it at the beginning of every call. And if you don't do that and you get caught 3 times, you get fired, man. And I knew dozens and dozens of people who got fired for that shit. So when the time came and I was like, man, I'm done with this joint. I just quit doing those pieces. And the big boss at the joint, he you know, he had my little grade sheet. Whenever you call up a number, this call may be monitored for quality assurance. Like, the quality guys, they're listening to make sure the operator's doing the right shit, right? So I had all these kind of demerits. And the big boss was like, Ed, you've been fucking up. This here is enough to fire you, man, but I fucking like you. You're a cool dude. I'm gonna rip this shit up. Ripped it up in front of me. And that's when I knew like that they would keep me there forever. And that night I packed up all my shit and left. Never came back, man. Because it was clear that like I just would be there forever. So that happened in August of whatever year that was. 2002 maybe. And September, October, I was working at the haunted house. And it sounds like a fun idea at first, right? You go to a joint, put on some makeup, get into a room, scare people for 6-7 hours a day. But man, that shit gets old. And the room is cold. And you're out in the elements. And sometimes you get kicked in the nutsack by somebody who's so freaked out. And just became so brutal. One day, get home and there's like a little note for me. You know, Jay Lynch called, and I sent him some pages, sent him some comics. He was a cool cat. And then days later, Harvey Pekar called, and that was what sort of set me up to build a career. Happened really fast, man. Within 2 months of quitting my job, I had my first comic book opportunity, thankfully. And just because I am the son of steel mill folk, I have constantly been running away from having to work at Burger King the entire time, man. Since I was 21. That same year, whenever Harvey called, that's when I connected with Jim for the first time as well. Just kind of like the idea of hanging out with some other comic book making folk here in town. And he just got his piece with slave labor at the time. Issue 1 wasn't even out yet. Just a self-published joint. And then from that point, man, we hung out every Wednesday for years. For probably like 2003 to 2008. But then when that subprime mortgage economic collapse bullshit went down, we had to scramble and keep our heads above water. So we started hanging out like a little less, but then pick that shit right back up. Still go to conventions together all the time. Yeah, with pumpkins, it's going to be kind of fresh. Like just the masks are going to be colored. Let me see if I can pull something up. Yeah, so I don't know if this is very visible. But I think that's real cool, real effective. In the issue before this, the Rat Queens issue, there are 3 tiers, and the top tier is going to be in full color. I'm doing a little different things every issue, keeping shit fun for myself. A lot of room to learn and teach myself different little storytelling things. So how's this for a couple of sick fucks, huh? Tell me you wouldn't want to see those guys in living color, walking around at a comic convention. That'd be super fun. Yes, to put a capper on it, whenever I connected with Harv and did my first 4-pager, it was just before the kids who called me from the Kubert school graduated, like probably a month before. So their motivation sort of paid off. If your shop isn't ordering Red Room, I would hit eBay or something. You know, it's easily available a lot of places, man. If those San Antonio shops ain't fucking with it, those are just hobby shops, little clubhouses that they built for themselves, man. They're not interested in making money. Yeah, that John Waters flick, polyester, man. I still have my smell card. I never used it. I wonder if the smells are still intact. Fuck, you're gonna make me go grab that. Give me 1 second. I do remember number 2 is supposed to be a fart, and he chose number 2 for that very specifically. Let me go see. Shit, I might listen to the audio commentary after the stream. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I still have the little smell card in here. Polyester, that's a joint. Look what I found. Odorama. Let's see if there's any smells left. Nah. Oh, there's a little something in this one. 4 is like oregano. So I think there's a pizza sequence. Nothing on 5. Nothing on 6. Ooh. On 7. That's when the girl puts her head in the oven, and it's the smell of mercaptan, or better known as natural gas, because natural gas has no smell. Can't tell what 8 is. Number 9 is good. Number 9's a good smell. Like a perfume or something. Or like talcum powder or something. Let's see what 10 is. Ten does have a smell. It just smells soapy or something. But you know I fucks with all of that, man. This shit was my These were my companions when making those early comics with Harv, actually. Listening to the John Waters audio commentaries on this stuff. Cecil B. Demented, how cool. Big fan of J-Dub. Huge inspiration. All right, back to biz. Yeah, I like Serial Mom and Pecker. I like Pecker better. Pause. But Serial Mom's okay. The only one I don't have is Crybaby. Like, I don't care about that one at all. I don't think I ever even seen it all the way. Oh, EJ, that's super cool, man. I hope shit's going well out there in San Fran. Probably one of my favorite cities in America. And one of those places that I'm actually bummed out I went to because I liked it so much. And there's no way my little funny bookmaking ass will ever be able to afford living out there. You know? But I've been there 2 times and had legendary fucking experiences each time. One of those being a Hip Hop Family Tree book release party at Isotope, where I drew that on that toilet seat. Yeah, John Waters comes here all the time too, to do his one man performance. He's a huge Andy Warhol guy, and Andy Warhol's from here, so he'll do a piece at the Warhol Museum, or check out what's new there, and then do his bit at the college venue usually. Yes, it's true. That's why I like John Waters' audio commentaries. You know, you learn a lot. He's funny. He's engaging. Super cool. Charismatic. Uh, Talks like he's so hip. So the things that he mentions, you could like seek out and find, and it unlocks a lot of weirdo history. I'm just working as I go when it comes to writing the issues. Like, I don't know what the next issue will be, but what'll happen is I'll take a week. I'll watch a bunch of movies. I'll sketch around in my sketchbook, read weird articles, and then it'll come to me. Always does. I have a lot of ideas though. It's just I want to choose the best ones at the time, you know? Like each comic that I draw is sort of the idea that compels me the most at that moment. And then you hope you're right, you know? You hope that it's one that will engage all of you as well. But I don't think I'm particularly unique in my taste or anything, so a portion of you will definitely dig the stuff. as weird as it sounds, to me, these characters, these pumpkins characters, they come more alive whenever I add the black to their eyeballs. Massive Panda, thanks for that super chat. Asks, is this Antisocial Network a compilation of the first 4 issues? Yes, with some added materials. Materials that are TBD. I'm going to spend most of June thinking about that stuff. Alright, I keep fighting back and choking down these coughs and sneezes. I better split for the day. Just get this stuff done, out of the way, keep shit rocking. Gotta get as much done as I can in the rest of May so that I can spend June compiling this book for you guys, the trade paperback. I think it's going to be a good package whenever I get that all together. Thank you guys for coming by the stream. Thank you so much for ordering so heavy on these Red Room issues so far. The printer literally has to order more paper for Red Room issue 2, and that is a fantastic compliment. So thank you guys so much. Have a good weekend. Read some comics, draw some comics, and